Hello, you guys there? Ran into a little problem. My streaming software had a little bit of an issue, so let's see if it's getting sorted out. We're back. Yes. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure what happened, but my streaming software ran into a little issue there, so I had to restart it real quick. Yeah, just be a moment as everything gets kind of caught up here for a second. Is there no audio? Can you guys not hear me? Oh, it's back, is it? I'm going to actually this would be a good opportunity. Okay, good. Thank God. This will be a good opportunity. I'm going to take a short break and just refresh my coffee and whatnot. This is about the time we normally do it, just to let everything kind of catch up. So why don't we just take a very short break and we'll get right back at the action. So hold on one moment and we'll be right back at it. All right, and we're back. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. While I took a short break, everything seems to be back to normal now. We should be able to jump right in here. If there's any other issues, if you guys see something, please let me know. I'll try to get it cleared up straight away. But what I'm actually going to do, as I said before, is I'm going to make a couple of these lights, and we're going to make this the little exhaust lights. And we can add in a couple of different cool kind of features that to really help sell it. And I'm actually going to use some line of sight occluders to set up the directional light that I want to create here, and all of that sort of stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this hexadecimal code, and then I'm going to make a new one. We're going to make sure it's 482550. So basically the same here. Now I want this to be 5100 is what I want it to be. Yeah, like this. And then I'm going to drop another one here. And then these two I'm going to make smaller. And then what I can actually do is select both of these and adjust them together here. So let's make this like 6 and 2. Oh, 2. And we'll put that kind of like this in here. And then we'll add in some blinking lights and do some other stuff like that too. So our ship is really starting to look nice now. I really like the way that it feels, the whole look of it. It's super cool. Really enjoying it. So what we can do is by putting everything in this one layer, we'll be able to manage all of our lights a little bit easier if we ever want to just turn them off and whatnot. So let's jump over to our occluders. We have a couple of different ways that we can interact with these lights, and we might want to move them around a little bit later too. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to do the, well, we don't want to do walls or anything, I don't think. Not that it really matters that much. We're not going to be really casting shadows. But yeah, we can. Let's actually just do shadow casters. I think that this has the least amount of impact on our system. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to I want the light just to be coming from here out. So I'm just going to create a little bit of a something like this. Well, this is going to create an actual element there. So here, let's try that one more time. I'm going to hold down Shift and double click that and just hit delete. So what we'll do is we'll probably a wall then will be the best, because then I can just kind of do something like this without needing it to be connected. And I can now angle this something like that. So when we look at it, you see we're going to create these nice, cool kind of lights that are shooting off of the back here. That little like ambience that's kind of coming off. And I can move back and forth and adjust these. I think we don't even need these ones, right? So we can just remove these points. And I'll actually use my grid system to help me maintain some sort of continuity here. So from the edge here, it's out 3, so it's going to be like here. And then I'm going to do something the same on this side, except I'm going to go straight across here. So maybe we'll do something like this. And now when we switch over, you'll see we got this nice, cool kind of effect of our engines that are emanating some sort of energy out the back here. And because this is all on one system, I can just turn these on and off if I want the engines to be off or not. I can also add on the top of this, if we want to go crazy here, we can do another effects layer. And again, I can come in here and I can do something along the lines of like Yeah, sure, let's do water. And let's make it kind of crazy here. Oh, you know what would be cool is if we did some sort of organic map one time, like the inside of a giant monster or something, and made like all of the different pieces like undulating and stuff. I think that would be really cool. Now I'm going to add a mask layer, and I'm just going to basically add it into this area here, right? So we're just going to do something like this. We're going to have to drop back our intensity here a little bit. And I'll probably actually kind of remove that. We want to blur that out a little bit. And we can actually add in, if we wanted to do edges here. You see we can get this kind of like nice ripply kind of effect. Which is pretty cool. Oh, we have a question from Svenster on Twitch here. Can you build occluders on a token that has light added to it to simulate a bullseye lantern or flashlight? No, you can't attach. You can attach it to an image, right? So I can, if, but not to an actual token. So you can kind of do that. Yes, directional lights are on the Idea Informer. So if that's something that you're really interested in, you can certainly go over there and upvote it. So we actually do use the Idea Informer very much. And that's kind of what gives us the priority of things that people want and not. So the more that you want something, and if you go over there and you upvote those things, the more that we're going to get to those in a timely fashion. Look at how cool our spaceship is starting to look here. I'm really, really enjoying it. I think I might increase the speed of our clouds here a little bit. Let's go up to something like 55, I think. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, very cool. I like that. But you can attach lights, and so here, let me give you kind of a cool example of things that you can do currently. While we're talking about it, I love to go off on tangents, so let's do this. Let's grab an image. Let's see. I wonder if I have a lantern. I probably do. So here we have a lantern, right? Let's grab this guy. I'm going to make it quite a lot larger so that we can actually use its functionality over here. Kind of demonstrate this a little. So here we have the unlit lantern. Now on this, I can actually add lighting and all of my line of sight to this image. So let's, I'm going to make this very yellow light, something like this. I'm going to drop it right on my lantern, and I'm going to make this light quite large. So let's do, as you can see, the light is attached to the lantern. And let's make this 25. And let's make the bright light 50. Right, so it's lighting up a really large area over here. And then I'm going to go over here, and I'm actually going to add my line of sight to it too. I'll use a wall again. And let's say I want it to just shine out. So I'm going to move my light to a particular area, and I'm going to move it this direction. So let's create our line of sight here. Well, and now I'm going to go back into my lighting area here, and I'm going to grab my light, and I'm going to move it just to the other side there. And let's expand this. Let's make this more narrow and expand it out. Now what I can do, if I go into my layers area, you can see all of that moves all in conjunction with this. And I can even rotate it. Whoop, I don't want to do that. I can even rotate it. And all of this is going to function appropriately, just like you'd expect. Now, this is a completely separate system than a token, but you can do this as it is in its current functionality. Yeah, you can do this. Make sure that your image that you're using and whatever attached to is totally done there. Yeah, well, what you know what else you can do, which I've shown before, to show like a lighthouse from off screen, and this is really cool. Let's delete all of that. Let's make a new layer here, and this is going to be a light from off screen. Like, let's say I've created a nice little environment, and there's a lighthouse over on the corner here. We can go into our lighting system. I'm going to make this like that, like 6. Well, let's make this like 15, and I'm going to put it here. And let's say that we have a lighthouse over on the side here. And to let's turn this like this so that we have a little bit more vision of how this is going to look. See our cool engines. So cool. And I'm going to turn off these for right now. So here's our lighthouse off screen. Let's actually make this just like really noticeable, right? We're going to make it like super red. We'll even make it its bright like 20. Make it dim 25. We got all of this light, this orange light coming from off screen. And then I'm going to, in this same area here, I'm going to add in my occluders. So let's say we're going to do something like this. And maybe like this. And then I'm going to come back over in here and grab my little light source here, put it right on the edge. Then I'm going to add in some behavior. I'm going to actually give it a pulse. Maybe we'll do like 2. So you can do these cool kind of ambient lights that are coming off of the edge and to kind of simulate that passing by of the lighthouse and whatnot. We could do it a flash too. Well, Pulse definitely works. Maybe we could do it like one, really slow. That slow kind of grow out and in. It would definitely be cool too if you had like like inside of a building and you had these that kind of just like grow in and out as the lighthouse lights kind of pans by. Lots of cool stuff. I love that kind of. I'm going to set up a little bit of an ambient light. I'm just going to go with like a default sunlight and then adjust it from. Well, actually, you know what we can do? We can just drop down its opacity. Maybe something like this. And then we can come into our area down here. We'll expand this out. Maybe we'll do like this. Make sure that we total control over how these look. Cool. All right, now let's add in some of our little other lighting systems here. So I'm just going to call this one lights. Let's do some little blinking lights here. I'm going to actually make make them just white. And I'm going to be here. I'm going to make them with a small bright and a bit larger of a dim. I'm going to make them have a flash. And let's set this to maybe 50 at first. And maybe we'll do one here. And now what I can do is I can select all of these. And because they're all the same, I can do any sort of adjustments with them all in the same kind of iteration, like all at once. So let's say I want to adjust their color or their size. So we can make this smaller and change the fall off if we want to. Let's make it like 1. And we can change the speed. Maybe we want it to be slower. Maybe what we want to do is have a less of a drop off. It's a little bit more abrupt. Like this. And maybe we'll give it a little bit of color. Maybe we'll go with red like the other elements. And so what I would actually do to finish this off is I would actually put little lights on there, little things that we could say were the lights, but yeah, I think that this is very cool. What do you guys think? Anything else you think we should do or change with our ship here? You know how cool our shadows look now. And this was built 100% inside of Fantasy Grounds Unity, just with one art package, the Spaceship's art pack. Oh, we have a from Philip on YouTube. Oh yeah, you're very welcome. Oh yes, you can do that. You can. Yep, there's total token lights, and so you can do that as well. So you can inside of the lighting area here, you'll see token lights and token vision. So you can add dark vision and whatnot, and then you can do all of the same functionality to a token. So you can make an actual will-o-wisp that gives off light for sure. Yeah, you can do lots of cool stuff. You can add like soft glows from ghosts and whatnot. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. And you can attach all of these to effects as well. So, for example, you can tie effects to items. And so when an item is equipped, it immediately adds the lighting to the token. There is just any number of things. Do you guys have any other questions, or is there anything else that anything that we did that you'd like more clarification on, or? This would be like a freighter, I think. I think what we'll actually do is build the interior of the ship as well. I think that would be fun, or at least some of it. We can go about, I'll show you guys a couple of different ways that we can go about the interior construction of the ship. So we'll do like big cargo hulls and cargo holds and whatnot, as well as lots of other stuff. Yeah, so we can actually do it a couple of different ways. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to call my stream a little early today. But what we can do is, and we'll start this next week, I'll show you a couple of different ways. We could actually, depending on how much you want to deal with one specific map. I mean, you can layer a lot of the interior right on top of this, but I'm going to show you guys a different way to approach it. What I'll actually do is make a copy of this map. And if you guys aren't familiar with how to do that, I'll show you really quickly. Let's close down our assets. So here we have Spaceship 2, right? This is the one that we just created. I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to drop it in here. And you see we have another copy of it. So this is exactly what our players would see if I were to share that with them. You can see that we have our player view on. All kinds of cool effects and lots of fun stuff going on. So what I'm actually going to do, we're going to strip this down. We'll just start prepping for next week. So I'm going to select all of the cloaking elements and whatnot. We're going to delete that. we can delete all of the shadows. Let's see how flat it is. Let's just look at this compared to the other one, right? So here's what it would look like without all of the other elements that we've added to it. And here it is, not as flat. You see how much shadows and highlights really add to the entirety of the image. I think it just, it's astronomical, the differences, right? That's why I always like to go that extra step. And what I'm actually going to do is use this as my base, right? We don't need these anymore. And I don't even need the space in the background if I don't want it. And I can actually, if I wanted to, right, we could change this back to its original thing. We are going to be using our lighting system on this, so I won't completely turn that off. But for right now, I'll just disable all of this stuff. So we have back to our original. And again, it's quite a difference that we did to, whoop, that's that one. As you can see, where we started out to where we end with our cool spaceship. No problem at all, DJ Break Time. Yeah, feel free. Email me away any sort of issues or problems that you might have. Or any questions. I will always respond eventually. I do have a hard time getting to it sometimes, but I will get there eventually. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to use this silhouette to build out my interior. And then once I have my interior done, I can, and this, I'll be removing the rest of this. But for the meantime, let's actually turn this off. I don't know if we're going to use that or not. And I'm going to leave my windows because I'm going to want to know where their placement is when I'm doing the interior. Yeah, you certainly can, Philip. It should all be on YouTube and on Twitch. I don't know if it's still on Facebook after the fact, but we stream, and this is actually plays on the Steam, our Steam page as well. So there's lots of ways that you can watch this again. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to move into here, and again I'm going to make it down just to a silhouette while we talk about this. And so you can see that this is the base silhouette that I'm going to be building off of. And what I'll do is I'll use this silhouette, and I'm actually going to just draw out a very base of where I want all of my different interior shapes are going to be. And then I'm going to delete all of this. And then once I have that, I can, I'll know this is where I'm going to put engine rooms, for example, and so on and so forth. See, here's where I have my all of that stuff. So we'll actually rename this Spaceship 2 Interior, and this is what we'll work on next week. So we have this, which we have completed with all of our lights and our little engines and lots of stuff. Let's add this stuff back in. And I'm actually going to add a mask to this. And this one. So that I can come in here and just have it in this space. And that way we have all of this like slow kind of motion in and behind. And if I want to darken this up, I can add in other effects layers. And then what we'll do is we can just grab our interior, and we'll put a little, we could do individual elements. But that way, whenever our players are going to be going inside, we can just grab this and it will bring us right to the interior map that we're going to be creating. Yeah, we'll have to think about this. I'll put some thought into this, where we're going to have our little interior elements and whatnot. Add in a couple more little highlights here. We might even bring this down just a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit too much. Yeah, that's good. That looks good. Yes, there is. Well, in a way, kind of. I think there might be. I might have a way for you. I'll have to test it out though. Dark Soul. By exporting it into a module and then maybe maybe not though. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. Dark Soul. I mean Dark Mantle. Yep, that's correct, Dark Soul. Yeah. I'm sorry I got Dark Soul and Dark Mantle mixed up as I was responding. So the question is it possible to copy one spaceship to another image? Let's say I had Spaceship 3 and I wanted to put 2 and 3 on the same screen at once. I might, maybe not though. I don't think that you can grab a record and put it in. You can definitely do it if you get into the XML files of your database and do it that way. Because you can copy all of this information, that is all of this metadata, and then you can import it into another ship, into another image. But I'm trying to think of a way that you could do it on the front end, which there might be. I'll see if I can come up with a way to do it for next time. And yes, that's exactly what we'll do. So in the other image here, we can just pull it up here now. So here we have our grid system, which is set up to 100 by 100, right? And this grid system is kind of very arbitrary. We can move this around and we can change this and do all kinds of stuff with it. So I'm going to set this actually at 25 by 25. And then as you zoom in, you can see we'll be able to add in all of these elements, because this seems to be about what I would imagine would be about right. Or we could even go even smaller. We could do something like 20 by 20. Or even 10 by 10. Depending on how big of a map that we wanted to make. Yes, it is dark in there. We had Dark Souls and the Dark Mantle. So being able to adjust our grid system on the fly is amazing in these kind of situations. Because then we can build these large shapes and then do all the fine little details on the inside. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it here for today. And again, I thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll be here back this next Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I usually go to about 6, but lately I've been feeling a little bit under the weather this week, so I'm going to have to call it now. But thank you guys again. And if you guys do have any questions, or if I'm, like I said, during the stream, if there's anything that comes up that I don't quite explain correctly, or not thoroughly enough, just throw it into chat and I'll do my best. Great. Thanks so much, guys. And we'll see you all next time.